As many of you are probably already aware, there is an occupation going on in Seattle called the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. If you want to get more context on what's happening, check out timcast.net, my main channel where I put out a video on this at 4 p.m. Should be up now. Well, the group has published their list of demands. But this segment isn't just about their demands. It's also kind of a bit chaotic. Apparently, some dude who's like a prominent activist there threatens somebody's life. Somebody yells on camera, "We're the police now. Like, we got to be in charge of this." That's exactly what's happening, isn't it? They don't care about police injustice necessarily. They just want to be the police themselves and then deal with issues as they want them to be dealt with. That is how humans work. It's how it always is. Everybody always says the person in power is wrong. I should be in power, and they get in power and then they're wrong too. But first, let's take a look at the collective, the demands from the collective black voices at Free Capitol Hill to the government of Seattle, Washington. Now, I just want to point out very quickly that I would say the overwhelming majority of people on Capitol Hill who are controlling it or doing whatever are white, but that's typically how it goes. And let's read what they say. In this Medium post from Free Capitol Hill, they say, "In credit to the people who freed Capitol Hill, this list of demands is neither brief nor simplistic. This is no simple request to end police brutality. We demand that the city council and the mayor, whoever that may be, implement these policy changes for the cultural and historic advancement of the city of Seattle and to ease the struggle of its peoples. This document is to represent the black voices who spoke in victory at the top of 12th and Pine after 9 days of peaceful protest while under constant nightly attack from the Seattle Police Department. These are words from that night." Here's what they say. For ease of consideration, we've broken the demands into 4 categories: justice system, health and human services, economics, and education. I wonder where this is going. Given the historical moment, we'll begin with demands pertaining to justice system. 1. The Seattle Police Department and attached court system are beyond reform. We do not request reform. We demand abolition. Boom. And there it is. You see, at first they were saying defund the police. We're not saying get rid of them. Just take away some of their money. Then they said disband the police. Just this one department. Then they said abolish the police. But baby, here it comes. We demand abolition of the attached court system. English common law down the drain, replaced by what? A kangaroo court of woke ideologues who apparently in one video threatened somebody's life. Check this one out. Here's this post. Raz Simone, an armed crew, threatened to murder unarmed graffiti artist in self-proclaimed Chaz. Yeah, well, what do you expect? That's why they want to get rid of these things, isn't it? So they can threaten people's lives with impunity. 2, in the transitionary period between now and the dismantlement of the Seattle Police Department, we demand that the use of armed force be banned entirely. No guns, no batons, no shields, no chemical weapons, especially against those exercising their First Amendment rights as Americans to protest. Oh, now you want constitutions, huh? We demand an end to the school-to-prison pipeline and the abolition of youth jails. Kids get out of prison, get cops out of schools. I don't completely disagree with this. I don't think kids should be in prison. They need some kind of rehabilitative system. We demand that not the city government nor the state government, but the federal government launch a full-scale investigation into past and current cases of police brutality in Seattle and Washington, as well as the reopening of all closed cases reported to... Are you kidding? Wow. Talk about a big ask. 5, we demand reparations for victims of police brutality in a form to be determined. We demand that the city of Seattle make the names of officers involved in police brutality a matter of public record. Anonymity should not even be a privilege in public service. Now, I actually agree with no anonymity for public service, 100%. If it's in the public, the people should know about it. We demand a retrial of all people in color currently serving a prison sentence for a violent crime by a jury of their peers in the community. Oh, wow. This is incredible, man. We demand the decriminalization of the acts of protest. Well, yeah, protest shouldn't be a crime. There's a First Amendment for that. We demand that the city of Seattle and the state government release any prisoner currently serving time for a marijuana-related offense and expunge the related conviction. Agreed. 10, we demand the city of Seattle and state government release any prisoner currently serving time for resisting arrest if there are no other related charges, and that those convictions should also be expunged. I agree with that too. We demand that the prisoners currently serving time be given the full and unrestricted right to vote. That I don't agree with. Listen, I don't believe people should be in prison for non-violent drug offenses. I really, really don't. There's some caveats there. Like if you're slinging drugs to kids, like, nah, I'm not cool with that. If you personally choose to do that, look, man, I'm pretty libertarian. If you want to go chill in your house, smoke some weed or whatever, do your thing, that you should not be in prison for that. And there are some offenses related to this. Fine, selling to kids, like I said, and maybe large scale production and distribution. The reason for that is mostly because even if it was legal, there would be regulations on this. But I certainly think we got to absolutely reevaluate all that stuff. And I'd actually be totally down for a lot of these people having their records be expunged and stuff like that. The people serving time just for resisting arrest, I'm not okay with that either. Not absolutely no. But it depends on what they say serving time for. Prison? Maybe. But look, there's a reason for this, and so I'm a bit more fence city on this one, though I lean towards, yeah, I don't like people getting charged with resisting arrest if they're not under arrest. But this pertains to if someone's being detained and they start a fight with cops, they might get assaulted on an officer and stuff like that. I think we should absolutely reevaluate these circumstances, but the reason they do it, I understand. We need things to be orderly. If someone's suspected of a crime and they stop you and detain you, they're allowed to do this. They can detain you for, I believe, in some jurisdictions up to like 45 minutes. Yes, it's not fun, but they can. Just don't answer questions. Get a lawyer. Ask if you're free to go. Look, nothing is going to be perfect. We have the presumption of innocence, and we want to make sure we protect the innocent. But that also means we need to have some security, right? I lean towards liberty on most things, but I understand why the cops might stop you and ask you questions. You have your right not to, and that's how the game is played. There's no perfect line, and that's a big challenge. Okay, there's no way I can read all of these demands. This is nuts. Let's just see the first demand for economic issues. We demand the de-gentrification of Seattle, starting with rent control, the restoration of city funding, free college. Oh, great. Between now and the abolition of the SPD, police be prohibited from performing homeless sweeps, decentralized election process. Well, you saw right there. What is this? Related to economics? Okay, I can't read this, man. What are they saying? We demand that the history of Black and Native Americans be given a significantly greater focus in the state education curriculum. We demand that thorough anti-bias training become a legal requirement. Why? In all jobs. Listen, you know what that means? Anti-bias training, indoctrination for their ideology. Now, I do think it's funny to point out they want free de-gentrification of Seattle. What does that mean? You're going to force all the white people to leave? Like, is that what you mean by that? The restoration of city funding, free college for the people of the state of Washington due to the overwhelming effect that education has on economic success. You know what? I'm totally fine with this. You know why? Because you've created, like, colleges have become ideological churches, basically. The only problem I really have with it is that these universities have become, like I mentioned, like your ideological church. And you're forcing the taxpayer to pay for it. So nah, if you're gonna give it away for free, and then you're creating this pipeline of indoctrination, now we can't have that. So anyway, listen. You get it. These are the demands of the people. Whatever. I don't think it really matters because it'll never happen. But check this out. Bernie Sanders himself says, I don't agree with the push to abolish the police departments. Tom Cotton and Ted Cruz are condemning calls to defund the police. No one supports you. Conservatives don't, obviously, but even Bernie Sanders doesn't support you. So what are you really asking for? In the end, I know what they want to create. This is the post from r/Seattle. Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, educational movie night. This is Seattle without militarized police. Where are your riotous looters now? They are watching documentaries. FU SPD. Photo credit to a close friend. Here's a link to a video. Raz Simone and armed crew threatened to murder unarmed graffiti artist in self-proclaimed Chaz. Yeah. That's your riotous looters. No, they've been given control and they're going to do what they want. Apparently, a bunch of people said, Raz should disassociate. I have no idea who Raz is. I don't care. I don't know who's right or who's wrong or whatever. All that matters is you get rid of cops. This is what you get. You can pretend that it's peaceful and everything's fine. And for the most part, it is. Of course it is, because humans mostly are. But what happens when someone comes in and violates unnamed law? There's a guy spray painting on a wall and they say, hey, you can't do that because somebody lives there. And he said, so what? Free zone, yada, yada. The guy grabs him. A scuffle breaks out. I don't know exactly what happened or why. But listen, the dude spray painting, there are no rules saying you can't do this. In civil society as we have it now, we do have laws. And it is stupid, in my opinion, that people can be arrested even though they didn't know they were breaking the law. And they say ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking it. I disagree with that. That's not fair. Although everyone would feign ignorance, I guess. No, the issue here is that you have no laws. You have no rules. So what do you expect? It's an autonomous zone. You can't physically assault somebody because they're doing something you don't like. All you've done is revert society back to a lesser state. Police reform, 100%. I agree with that. But a massive list of demands, including free college, that is ridiculous and absurd. This is what these people always do, and you can expect them to do it again. If you give them an inch, they will take 50 miles. So don't be surprised now that they're calling for the abolition of the court system, for them to eventually say abolition of anything that could be a crime and just other nonsense. But whatever, I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.